Welcome to Aloha Alive, the heartbeat of Hawaii. As your hostess with the mostest for his highest, you know, viewing Ohana as you join us right now, thank you for your time and your eyes, your heart. But you know that I, Auntie Dawn, always try to bring you something that is very near and dear to the heart of Keakua, our God. Keakua Manaloa, Keakua Mauloa, the God who is so great and so powerful. And one of the areas that I see that and have watched it in our state is in the area of politics. Now, don't tune out. Wait. I got a good guy here today. He's a dear brother and good friend of mine, both you and your wife, Kim. Welcome, Gary Cordery, Gary for Gov.
Wow,
Aloha.
Dawn, thank you. What a warm introduction, and it is a true pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it is great joy. We share great joy.
We do, and so
Yeah.
much hope. And I
Yeah.
was tempted to name this episode Politics in Paradise, the Black Eye of Hawaii.
Oh, I tell
But
ya.
you know what? There's bigger hope because as a Christian woman, as a Christian man, and you've been a pastor, I've been a minister, if we just focus on the black eye and the bad and the evil and say there's no redemption, no hope, then we need to get out of the business of Jesus Christ. Now, I was tempted to do the other introduction that I love doing for you because I've introduced you a
Okay.
few times as part of Aloha Freedom Coalition, is my favorite moment with Gary and Kim. And we've had a lot of moments.
Indeed.
A lot of great events,
wonderful moments.
accolades, great things. But we were at an event over at Bud Stonebreaker's property in Waimanalo. Yeah, you country.
That's right.
And you were getting up to speak, and right after somebody else had introduced you, you were getting up with a national speaker also. And your little grandson, I think he was 6 or 7,
Yeah, that's about right. Yep.
and he yelled as you walked up there, "Go get him, Pop Pop!"
Yeah.
He calls you Pop
He
Pop.
does. All the grandkids call me Pop Pop.
I love that.
And the oldest is now a freshman in high school. Now, he's a little more reluctant to call me Pop Pop, but there's a lot of good. It's such joy,
and
just to see
you
them.
could just see his
Yeah.
whole little body.
Yeah.
He was giving you his whole mind, body, soul, and strength. He was straining it. Go get him, Pop Pop. And
Yeah, yeah.
just the cutest. Like
Yeah.
if you, and we both love the Lord in the good book. And Jesus says, if you can't love me as a child has faith, a childlike faith, and blessed are the children. He always brought them up because they have such a purity of heart.
Yes, they do.
So if you got the kids' vote, the keiki vote, you got my vote. Boo.
Yeah, wow.
That's what it is.
They say out of the mouths of babes,
Boom.
that comes right out.
Boom, shucka Jesus.
They just don't edit. They just speak what's actually there.
Authentic to the highest degree.
Yeah.
And you and I love that. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm going to pivot on that point. We were just speaking as we were getting started about authenticity. And what I love about you and Kim is you are the real Jesus deal. You really are the real deal. You and I have been in ministry for decades here in this beloved Aloha state. And sometimes we see that even leaders in church or pastors tend to not be very authentic or real deal. You are the real Jesus deal.
Oh, thank you. That's a very nice compliment. Thank you for that.
Thank you for hearing what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And with that said, I was looking at some of my questions for you, and you basically just responded and you said, I want to connect public policy to the experience of people's lives, not high, lofty principles, with issues, the same issues we've been facing for decades. What do you mean by that, Gary?
Well, I'm running for governor, which
That's
is
right,
a
I
small,
forgot to say
a
that.
small
Gary
introductory
for Gov.
piece. So anyway, this is not the first iteration as well. Remember
Happy
in
second
2022,
run.
right? We learned a great deal in that first 2022 run. Really,
And catch us up, because
Yeah, it
that was
does,
your
yeah.
first time up.
Yeah.
You went straight for the governor's seat, and
That's
you're going
right.
for governor again for
Yeah.
2026. So this will be airing up until that point. It'll be live. But what did you learn from that run? What's new and exciting for you?
Yes.
And you're running as a Republican.
Great question. So what we really learned is that people actually need to get to know you.
Wow.
Right. So people get stuck in this mentality where you need name recognition, you need money. What they really need is they need relationship.
Wow.
People need to know that you're for real. You mentioned it in your tee up, which thank you very much. when people actually listen to our meet and greets and they see us and they interact with us with Q&A and this kind of thing, they recognize that it's a pro-Hawaii, it's a real campaign for the people.
Yes.
This is not a campaign for a right or left or all. It's a pro-Hawaii campaign because all of the people have they share the same basic needs.
Yeah.
Same dreams, same hopes. And then there's this presentation out there that we've heard for decades now. I can't remember the last time when politicians stood up and said, we want to fix a problem. Instead, they identify a problem. Right?
Wow.
So we have health care, homelessness, cost of living, education. It's the same story over and over and over. And what I realize is there's a way for politicians to actually stop talking about platitudes and start connecting with people.
Wow. I love that because I can't even spell platitudes, but I sure can. I sure do know people. But I hear what you're saying, and of course I'm jesting. You know, I was just this morning, I live and work in Kalihi, which is part of town here in Honolulu, and I was at Gulick Delicatessen, and there were 3 ladies in line in front of me. I was grabbing the crew some lunch, and somebody said, oh yeah, it's so expensive nowadays. Prices shot up, and they were talking about the prices there in the delicatessen, which of course we know. And I turned around, I said, inflation, shrinkflation, allflations. And the 2 ladies turned around, they were laughing, and they said, yeah, but they're not inflating our paychecks. We're not earning more. And they said, and we work for state. We work for the government. And I said, but don't they have cost of living allowance? And they said, yeah, I think that's part of the federal mandate. But all of that to say this, Gary, is the local people are feeling it. These are the everyday Janes or Kealohas who are going to the local delis, grabbing a little bit of lunch, grabbing somebody's kid a dinner or whatever it is. And we're talking about the struggles that have been endlessly so since the beginning of this state.
Yeah.
So how do you sit here today and say you're running for governor and it's about people?
It is about people. I mean, what people don't really understand about government in Hawaii is how government policy is actually initiated. How is it actually implemented in their lives? Because we think it's the legislator and we think it's the governor. It's actually not. It's actually these departments.
Nice.
Right? These departments, they actually implement policy.
Yeah.
And so when our lives interact with public policy, it's not with the legislator. Like you may have an issue in your neighborhood and you call your legislator and say, hey, listen, can you fix this? This has been an annoying problem. It's bad. It's unsafe. We need a traffic light. We need the bathrooms fixed, et cetera. And they actually have no idea.
Oh, wow.
The reason that they don't know is because they don't implement policy. If it's a transportation, it's Department of Transportation. If it's education, it's DOE. If it's land issues, it's DLNR. So those agencies actually receive the distribution from the legislative branch, the money. To implement policy.
So that's where you say department.
That's when I say departments. I'm talking about these departments.
Department of Education.
Right.
Department of
You can
Health.
take any one of these. They all have a budget request. It goes to the executive branch. They hash it out with the legislative branch, and then it's issued to these departments. Once that department receives the money, they implement public policy. And this is why you see the cost of living go up and up and up, because those who are connected with the people.
Yeah.
They're not connected because they're with the people. They're connected to the budget.
Wow.
So when you ask them to actually fund something, they don't actually know what they're funding.
Wow.
They have a request that comes from the department. And so these department directors and deputy directors and their staffs, they establish what they think they need for the fiscal year 26 as an example.
Okay.
They tell the government, we need $2.5 billion.
Wow.
Let's take the Department of Education as an example.
The biggest pie.
The biggest one.
The biggest slice in the pie.
So they say it's $2.6 billion. That's what they need. It's actually it's $4.2 billion, but they don't tell you about some hidden costs. So they get this money and they decide how to teach your kids, how to distribute that money throughout the departments to ensure that our keiki in Hawaii actually are educated and prepared for the future.
Wow.
At that point, nobody has a say.
Right.
Those departments determine. And yet the people on the street, they're struggling with their finances. They're wondering, why can't I pay for my groceries? Why can't I pay for my medicine? Why is my property taxes so high? Why are the roads never fixed? Because they're not asking.
Why is my plate lunch
Why is my plate lunch cost $15?
Right.
So when you actually talk about people, what's going on, people don't realize that next year, HECO's rates are going to go up 30%.
Oh, my word. That's our electric bill.
We're already the highest in the nation.
Yes, sir.
Right? So they're going to just keep raising these rates. And so what the government does is it says we need more money to do what? Not to fix the problem, to fund a department.
Wow.
Who decides what they need? The department needs. So who decides what the department's direction is? The governor.
Wow.
So you started originally saying, well, you're going for governor.
Yeah.
People have asked me in the beginning, even in 22, why don't you run for like state office?
Right.
Why don't you work your way up the chain?
Right. Start as a representative,
Yes.
a senator,
Yeah.
maybe the neighborhood board.
Yeah, like I have 15 years to work this thing out.
Or
You know-
we have 15 years to stop making my plate lunch $15.
That's right. So, what we need, and the reason I'm going for the horn, and this is exactly what God said. This is a God-centered, obedience-driven conversation.
Good. And call
Right?
it out. And with
It is,
boldness, we are
yeah.
stating it clearly
That's
for
right.
all to hear.
Yeah. So this call in 22 was to go for the horn. And the reason for that is our governor, the governor of this state, is the most powerful governor in the nation.
Wow.
People actually don't understand that. They don't actually
I never
realize.
thought that
It is
through.
It is very true because our governor appoints all the directors, all the deputy directors, the attorney general, all the judges, all of the commissions, all appointed by one man.
Wow.
So when you think about governance in Hawaii,
Right.
how are we going to change the policy, how it impacts the people in Hawaii, is not by changing legislative, whether we need more Republicans or whatever.
Right.
We need more balance. We hear this all the time. We need more balance.
Right.
Right. What we really need is we need a governor to select department directors and deputy department directors who fear God, who understand what integrity is, who understand what transparency, who understand what service is, who understand what it means that their policy is actually impacting whether
People.
the mother and the father have to go to work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
And not just whether they have to go to work, let's be honest,
Yeah.
Gary, but how many jobs you have to work. Because a lot of us in the state of Hawaii, if I
Yeah.
dare say, have to work 2 to 3 jobs per person.
yeah.
Per parent. And it used to be a one parent, like traditionally back in the day. I was born in 1970, so my dad went to work. And then after a few decades, my mom needed to start going to work too to make the same income to support the same household.
That's right.
And now they have multiple jobs each, right? Well, my dad's passed on to glory, but you get my point.
I do.
It's not just a one income home, it's multiple job, both parents.
That's right. So think of the stress that causes on the family.
Yes.
Think about the kids who mom's not at home.
Right.
They come home from school. What do? They either surf their phone, go to their room, or hang out with their friends.
Yep.
Right. There's no connection. There's no inheritance. There's no legacy being built there on a day-to-day basis. Just the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
When Kim and I go to the mainland to visit our kids, we don't go there to go do things. We go there to wake up in the morning, have breakfast, do the dishes together,
Right,
go to
sip
the park
coffee.
together, because it has to do with legacy. It has to do with the relationship. It has to do with what's going to last, what can be
Yes.
passed down. And when we live in so much frustration and struggle here in Hawaii, that one parent income is no longer enough.
No, because we have the highest cost of living in the nation. We have the highest taxes in the nation.
Yeah.
So I thank you. And for those of you watching, I know I have to take a breath to
Oh my gosh.
calm myself down.
Yeah.
But this is the reality we face. And that's why we have also the worst traffic in the nation. We are, as a favorite friend of mine, Mike Buck, he was a radio show host for many, many decades and years. And you love him as well. You're a conservative radio show host as well. But he said, Don, we're becoming number 1 on all the lists we should be last on.
That's right.
For a Paradise Island state. And we're first. We're first on all the lists we should be last on, and we're last in all the areas we should be first on. For example, working out outside,
Yes.
enjoying our beaches.
That's right.
I always crack the joke when I'm touring people around my island, Oahu. I said, I haven't seen this beach since the last time you visited from the mainland, right? That's
Who has
when
time?
locals go. We don't have time.
You don't have time.
So thank you, Gary, for that, and that you're connecting public policy and telling me about departments are what runs it.
Right.
Because another thought that quickly comes to mind is, and I've worked in the DOE system for some time, and Hawaii DOE is the use it or lose it budgetary philosophy.
That's right.
That if you don't use it, so let's say if you're the governor and you gave me $1,000, I requested $1,000 and I only use $800, next year you're going to say, Don, you only needed $800, so I'm going to give you maybe $750 and you can suck it up.
Yeah.
And that's my simple understanding
That's
of
very clear.
finances.
Yeah.
That's just it. So we need to understand departmental politics as well. And go ahead.
Really, departmental politics is where it's at, and that's not isolated to DOE.
Yeah.
So the way that these departments function is whatever they don't fund, they don't give back.
Wow.
So even when you think about unfulfilled positions within the department, as an example. So DOE has about 75 positions that aren't filled. You hear this in the public sector all the time. We need more teachers. We need more policemen. We need more firemen. All of these public sector jobs. We need more. Well, the legislators actually fully funded every position.
Wow.
So think of it. They fund for 100 positions, but this department only hires 75.
Interesting.
They don't give the money back.
And where's that money going?
That money is now dedicated to offer it as incentive pay and rewards for administrators. This actually in the department in 24 actually was $12 million.
Holy smokes.
So you don't think about the fringe when these departments and what it adds up to.
So
but when
can we call this,
when you take that across the board, all the departments, it is $300 million a year in money that comes out of the legislative branch to the departments. It's not used and it's not returned. So when we talk about how to reorder these departments with people of integrity and honor, I couldn't not do that. When you have a department and you
could not.
Yeah, you cannot.
$300 million.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, it was taking me a little while to respond because my brain has a hard time wrapping itself around this truth you're telling me.
Drop in the bucket.
Which is, you called it fringe. I was going to call it fat or pork fat. And now I'm like, there's other F words I can't say and won't say because I'm a Christian woman.
Yeah.
But $300 million?
No, it's pay plus fringe. So this is an interesting way that the budget works as well. The budget only tells you about what the pay is. So when the Department of Education says our budget is 2.6 billion, that's 19,000 per student. The actual number is 4.2 billion because they don't tell you about the fringe, which comes out of retirement, right? Your fringe benefit. And then it also has the cost of finance for capital improvements. They don't tell you these things, but this money is always being
saving money. It's down.
This
to
is why they're always saying
2.6.
we don't have enough money. So you have a shrinking base. We have outbound migration. You have a shrinking school population. It's gotten to be an issue. You've seen it in the public. Civil Beat just did an article on it. They're going to consolidate schools. They're doing what they can do. Why? Because their budget is tied to the pupil.
Yes, it is.
And the people are struggling. We get to get real about this. The people are struggling because the kids are being passed through.
Yes.
Our kids get tested and passed. That's not education.
No, it's not. And that's been for a number of years. And it's even on civilbeatright.org is a certain news outlet. And we'll talk about news outlets in a little bit. That was a question I had for you. But it talked about in this article, and this was in 2022, 2023. So it was right after the global lockdown. And it was noting that our students in the state of Hawaii, their grades were down. Well, no duh. We shut down schools for a year and a half. And then we let them back in, and now they're behind, but they're actually down. One report I read is down an entire grade. So let's say Don O'Brien's 14, I'm at Hilo High, and I should be a ninth grader. My education level is actually 8th grade middle school still because I'm one grade down. Right. And reading levels, math levels, etc., it's all down. So thank you for saying we have the highest costs for education because I'm in there. And I get surprised when I hear, and I didn't say the word corruption yet, but we'll get there, is I hear numbers thrown around because I work in the education department and they say, oh, well, so-and-so wanted to do a seminar. And even if it's only 30 minutes, it's going to be $10,000. And I about lost my lower jaw to the ground. And I said, how in the world is this person who is an experienced DOE official say that they are deserving of $10,000 for 30 minutes or $20,000?
I think we could use that.
When you're serving public schools where I, as a public school girl or my parents could never have thought about getting $10,000 or $20,000 for one 30-minute session.
That's right.
You're not going to work 30 minutes for $10,000 or $20,000, but this is getting padded into the Hawaii DOE budget because they know the system, as you're talking about fringe and about the base pay.
Right.
And this to me is where we have a crying shame for the state of Hawaii. And you and I have been fighting against it for many years. So thank you, Gary, for governor 2026.
Yes, I can tell you one of the things that undermines everything that's possible is systemic corruption in Hawaii. Everybody knows that.
I told you we were going to get to the word corruption.
One of my friends just said, "Hey, listen, why are you always talking about change? We know everybody knows there's corruption, but who cares?"
Wow.
It's become so commonplace.
Right.
Right? So you hear these things like in the federal, the Doge, reveal and all stuff. What we need here in Hawaii is an Office of Transparency, audits at the state level, and audits within the department.
Come on, call it out.
We're going to hire a bunch of finance people, and we're going to have a look. Auditors across the board. Because that number of $300 million across the departments, that's just payroll.
Wow.
That has nothing to do with facilities, nothing to do with education materials, all of those things. When you add those things up, we have more than enough resources. The people of Hawaii are incredible that they've shouldered this burden for so long
at our own expense.
But there's no performance.
Exactly.
There's no performance criteria.
They're getting an F minus as far as I'm concerned. There's a safe F word for you, F minus.
I talk to a lot of teachers, and what they really want to do is they want to get rid of this test and pass process. So what we've done is we've decided we're going to test the kids. Mm-hmm. And if they can't pass the test to move on, we lower the standard.
Wow.
This is what they're doing. I met this young man. He's a teacher, 8th grade, McKinley, Central Oahu. Goes to his administrator and says, my students can't read.
Wow.
The administrator says, you will pass them on.
Mm-hmm.
They get passed on to the 9th grade and the 10th, and then they graduate to the street. They can't get a job.
Because they can't read the
They can't read. They can't do math.
Right.
And so
I was part of a high school, and that was the same thing. We had 12th graders who could not read a child's book.
Yeah. And if you actually ask the teacher to account for their tactics or their teaching, you cannot.
Right.
Because they're part of this union thing. They have protection. We had them. My daughter went to College Hill, right? There was a teacher, we were like, oh my gosh, this is not possible. Right. And they just transferred her to another school.
Wow.
So this is what I mean about integrity in those you pick to run the school.
Hawaii.
And we need to actually decentralize,
yes.
And we need to figure out a way
Get it off of one guy.
Get it off of one board.
One leader, which is the governor. Yeah. And when you say that, Gary, what it makes me think automatic instant is, and I'm just a regular Hawaii citizen. I really am the regular, I would say Jane Doe, but maybe it's Ke Aloha Doe.
I don't think you're regular, my dear.
I think you're kind, but I went to public school.
Yeah.
I feel like I have been local for many years and lived here in this Aina, lived in the land, and I watch what's happening. And if I can think it through as a Hilo High student grad, I think everybody's seeing it. And as you just said, that was shameful. Aue is how we say it in Hawaiian. That person said, we all know corruption exists, but what are you going to do about it? So just get used to it. It's like saying we're a bunch of fish swimming in a fish tank, and it's a sewage tank at this point. It's filled with doo-doo and all kinds of other poison. But because we've survived it for 40, 50 years as this Democrat supermajority, let's just keep letting it happen for our baby guppies, which, by the way, you mentioned when you visit your keiki, you have to go to the mainland.
Yeah. You have to go to
and
Utah.
That's what's happening to many of our ohana. Is now there's the mass exodus and the diaspora of Hawaiians, where even Governor Josh Green himself said there's more people of Hawaiian ethnicity living outside the state of Hawaii than inside their own islands of Hawaii.
That's right.
And this is just a few of the aue, which is, it's a weeping noise that the Hawaiians make. Just think about the sound of that aue. When you and I mourn something, we weep and we break. And so this is what we are saying today, Gary.
Yes.
Thank you for saying this. I'm going to say it. We're drawing a red line and saying no more.
That's right.
And if you used to listen to me on a certain radio station, I got let go in 2014 for political reasons because I didn't toe the line for the politics here, and I would do it again. For our keiki and our ohana, our lahui, is we're saying not on my watch.
That's right.
And not in his house.
That's right.
That there is integrity and there's hope because there's good people. We watched the red wave, and I'm like you, Gary. I don't like to have to say I am on the right or the left because those are two sides of one whole, right? It's
That's
one
right.
body.
Yeah.
I'm not neither. I will say this for myself. I am not the elephant. I'm not Republican. I'm not the donkey. I'm not Democrat. I'm a Christ Christocrat, I'm with the dove.
Christocrat, I love that.
There has to be integrity
Yeah.
and truth.
You know, there are solutions, and they find themselves in virtue.
There we are.
We have to be a virtuous people who fear the living God and actually understand kingdom principles and how you can take what appear to be complex problems and you boil them down to fairly simple common sense solutions.
Yes.
If this state wanted to fix things, it could.
Yes.
Don't tell me that we cannot fix homelessness.
Come
We
on.
can fix homelessness. Why don't we fix homelessness? It's big business. You want to know what homelessness is? That's a big cash cow for this state. So if we actually decided we wanted to fix homelessness in Hawaii, we could.
Call it out.
Now, there's some people who want to live on the street. Okay, fair, fine enough.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about them.
That's
I'm
freedom
talking about
of
people
choice.
who have just down and out, and they're
Local
on the
families
street.
who can't make one
That's right.
car payment or house payment, and then they spiral
That's right.
out
One event.
into houselessness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One
One
car
event.
accident,
Yeah.
one health challenge where
That's
it
right.
costs thousands of dollars, and now this family finds themselves out there. I see these families, Gary, you see them out there, and they're with children. They have littles out on the street, and those are our people.
right.
So you're right. Houselessness or homelessness is a cash cow
Yeah.
for these committees that meet. It drives me nuts to read the news and say, oh, a new governor has appointed a new homelessness director or whatever committee, and so is the head, big name. You would all recognize who it
That's
is.
right.
And X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, to study
That's right.
and do another survey of homelessness.
And then you issue more money to NGOs. The state issues and lots and
describe what
hundreds
is
of
a
millions.
NGO.
So non-government organization. But when you look into the fine print of these organizations, you find them all very well connected politically.
Yes, sir.
Right. Even you just saw this thing, the insurance commissioner, a new insurance commissioner, the previous state house chair who was defeated. He's now the insurance commissioner. I thought, I wonder what he knows about insurance.
Right.
And how it's just such a blatant example of nepotism in this state. We need people who are actually qualified for positions. Can we just I could say we can just open, well, we used to have white pages, remember that?
Yes,
Right?
sir. In the
so
phone
you
book.
would open the phone book. Actually, you could open the phone book and just pick a name. Somebody
Yes.
of common sense who can actually recognize the problem and simple tasks to begin addressing the problem. Instead, we have politicians and NGOs who actually are entitling the people. And this is the problem in Hawaii. Our governor, through these EOs, executive orders, he's done 90 now.
Wow.
It's a staggering number.
Wow.
So people may not realize, but he sets aside the state constitution when he implements an EO.
Yes.
So as an example, he's doing these kuhales as a solution to homelessness.
Okay.
So a kuhale is a little 200 to 300 square foot rental put on a piece of ground, oftentimes no sewer, no water, no power. It's all brought in. So
Wow.
they bring this as an accessory.
Okay.
And the people become entitled because the government is now giving them a handout. Who said Hawaii's people are not enough?
Right.
I say they are enough.
Yes.
I say that we have industrious, strong, hardworking people who have more than enough.
Yes.
All they need is for government to get out of the way.
It's good.
And actually offer opportunities for them
It's
to
good.
move forward. And there are plenty of ways to do that.
Yes.
So with regard to housing, I can remember when owning a home was not just a dream, a far-off
my
dream.
gosh.
We can do that.
Yeah, and now it's not just a dream, it's a crack pipe dream.
right.
It's like so
Yeah.
far out
People
of
have
our
given up.
reality that our kids have to move to the mainland, and now we're moving to the mainland
Right.
to afford a decent house
That's
for a
right.
decent family. I love that you're bringing this up and talking about executive orders and the governor of the state. And we know we've been what I called, and some of you watching, thank you for, again, tuning in and wanting to know the other side. There's always two sides to
That's
a
right.
story. I was editor-in-chief way back in the day when I was in college and in high school, but especially at UH Hilo. And my mentor, advisor said, Dawn, you've always got to hear both sides of
That's
the
right.
story. Good journalism hears both sides. Even if you think, no, it's a sealed deal, this guy is right, there's no way the other, you listen to the other side. And it's even in scripture that way, that you believe one side until you hear the
That's
other
right.
and you're like, wait a minute, now I believe them.
That's reason
So
together.
Thank you,
Yes.
Gary, for bringing this to our attention. And I don't think there's enough of that. One of the original questions I sent to you, and I'm going to just say it it as a statement, is that we no longer have any type of investigative journalism in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'll stand by that statement.
That's a true
I'll say it
statement.
right to you.
That's right.
Because there was a time in the history of Hawaii when we were the most literate people on earth. We had
That's right.
91 newspapers.
That's right.
Right? 91 in both English and Hawaiian. So the Hawaiians brought the printing press, right, with
That's
the
right.
missionaries.
Incredible.
Queen Ka'ahumanu asked them to bring it. They brought it. They started printing Bibles, printing 91. Today we're a one-paper town.
Yeah.
Literally a one-paper town. I mean, I begin to grow fangs and sprout back hair when I'm
right.
talking about this
Yeah.
because it gets me so passionate about searching for the truth. And we need to hear a balanced side of the truth. Thank you for bringing the balance. And I think it's by design that they're hiding things,
Oh,
that they're
absolutely.
giving misinformation, disinformation, and straight bold-faced lies. That's the real simple
That's the
word.
truth. Yep.
Lies.
That's right.
So when we come
That is
to
misinformation. Why do we restate things and make it palatable, if you will? It is not misinformation. It's an absolute deception.
Yes, it is.
That's what misinformation is.
Yes, sir.
Deception has a purpose.
Yes.
You don't deceive for no reason.
There it
There's a
is.
purpose for the deception.
Ask
and the
the
worst
why.
form of deception is self-deception. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be honest with you. We have somebody in charge who's living this fantasy.
Like he's the best governor in the
Like
state of
he wants to be
United
president.
States.
He's off meeting all. He recently bound Hawaii to California,
Yes.
Washington, and Oregon
Governor
to
Newsom,
oppose the
Newsom.
CDC, right? Because he's opposed to everything that makes sense.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be. He's given the Attorney General some $12 million to sue the Trump administration. Now, you may not like Trump. You may not like his principles.
Right.
But you don't dedicate the resources of the people just simply to oppose.
Right.
Why not engage?
Yes.
Why don't we have an honest conversation about what really matters for the people?
Yes.
And let the people speak.
Let the people vote.
Let the people bring
Let
the decision.
people decide.
We live in a republic. Individual liberty,
Yes.
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you.
Self-government.
Yes.
Not government by the government,
Right.
from the government, for the government.
And I was just going to say what you're alluding to, that you are of the people, you are by the people, and you are for the people. But the government we have in place in the state of Hawaii, and I'm looking right at you because this is a strong statement on my behalf, but I stand by my words and I'm mindful of what I'm saying, is that we do not have a government in the state of Hawaii that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. This sounds like perhaps a cliche, you may think, or a saying, or a trite saying from back when you were reading your textbooks in high school, social studies, or when you were a child reading about history. But there is such goodness to the things that we were founded on. They weren't trite little sayings.
That's right.
They were truths, and they're still true to this day.
That's right.
Gary, thank you for bringing that up. I've watched Governor Green doing what he's doing. I think he has the best last name for what he's been doing. It's
That's
a
right.
green agenda.
That's exactly right.
And his number one donor, and you can check his files, it includes Pfizer, which
course.
is big pharma, and they give big money to their
right.
big guys. So how do we get off that track of being funded by private organizations when you're a public official?
yeah, very difficult.
The corruption
Yeah,
is
so-
really difficult.
Yeah.
You and I risk even talking about it and putting this on air in the state of Hawaii.
The issue is retribution.
Okay.
So retribution from political figures throughout the community restrain people from actually participating.
Yes,
I
and-
hear. I'm a contractor, by the way. People don't realize this. I'm a general contractor.
He works.
So
he has
I
a
work.
real job.
Yeah, a real job. Imagine that. And I sign the check on both sides. Imagine that as well. What a concept. A business person
Yes.
running a state government, which is a business.
Yeah.
This is what we need. Somebody
Thank
who
you.
understands the lay of the land, understands
Right.
what resources are available, and
Budgeting.
understands how to budget and do all these things. And I can tell you,
Accountability.
when I ran in 22, I would go around and ask people I knew. I said, hey, can you invest in the campaign? Oh, well, I'm behind you 100%, but I can't give. Well, how come?
Yeah.
Because my name will show up in campaign records, and I'll have retribution.
Wow.
So this is very common.
And
so
retribution, if you're a young person watching and it's outside of you, you don't want to
You're
Google
gonna
it.
pay.
It means it's a type of revenge.
Yeah, it's
You
revenge.
will
That's
pay.
right.
You will have consequence, and
Yeah.
they will get you.
you want to get your project done? Better be careful. Don't cross the government.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build a church? You need that. You better watch out.
And this is the God's
Better not
honest
speak from the
truth.
pulpit. Better not talk about politics.
Right.
These are the issues that people face because this is the undercurrent of corruption. When I mentioned earlier that corruption is undermining all that's possible, it's because there's no freedom.
Yeah.
We're designed to be free. Our rights don't come from government.
No, sir.
We have inalienable rights that come from God alone.
Yes, sir.
But we actually have to walk in that. There's a certain authority that we get to walk in this community that says no. It says no to that.
Yeah.
And
I
we
do not
embrace
bow
what is
to
true. We do
that
not bow.
false
Yeah.
God, but our God says in his good book, where the Spirit of the Lord is,
There's freedom.
there is freedom.
That's right.
And we are free for freedom's sake
That's
because
right.
God gives us that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. So I agree with you. And yet there's that, as you said, that undercurrent. I grew up in the state of Hawaii, and there have been different experiences throughout my lifetime and the lifetime of my parents who were the first to immigrate here. And you understand, you don't say certain things.
That's
you don't
right.
act up a certain way because you do get, I've had friends speak out on the side of what's not popular and what's not in the winning positions in government. And they had union contracts pulled,
That's right.
right? Because the
Yeah,
unions are a big
that's
part of politics here.
I've had them come to my job.
Wow.
They came to my job. Hey, we just want to check to see if you're OSHA compliant. I said, well, I'm so glad you came because I'm all about that.
We're fully compliant.
We're
thank
fully
you.
compliant, and we agree with you completely.
You
But
have
where do
nothing
these
to
guys
hide.
come from? It's this unspoken pressure
Retribution.
to comply. We will never comply our way out of totalitarianism. You
Wow.
must stand.
Yes.
The people, 60% of this state do not vote. You want to know how we're going to win?
Wow.
Think of it, 60%.
That's a majority.
60%.
Yeah.
It's a supermajority.
Yes, sir.
I would go and I'd knock on doors. Hey, are you voting? No. Why would I bother to vote?
Right.
Why would I bother?
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. My voice, you need to change this. My voice doesn't matter. And all we have to do is convince people to say your voice does matter because this is your ohana.
That's good.
These are your kids. This is your future. So this conversation about outward migration, and you mentioned my own family, right? This is exactly why they've left.
Yeah.
And the people who are leaving Hawaii, who exactly is that? It's people who can actually afford to leave.
Yes.
Think about it.
That's
and who
true.
are those people? They're small business. They're families who are functioning. They're working hard. They recognize. They see the handwriting on the wall.
Yeah.
They know that the future is bleak.
Yes.
And so
at
they say,
best.
exit stage right while I still can.
Yeah.
And this is what's going on. And so what happens?
Wow.
The tax base is shrinking.
Yes.
But the government is saying we need more.
Right.
Right? Well, just put that on the scale.
Wow.
So you're going to have more and more of the government taking more and more, but you have less and less people
Tax
paying.
base.
So that means their rate has to go up.
Wow.
So you see these new policies all the time. All of these agencies have overlaying fees and regulations. They overlap.
Yeah.
And now you have different climate change organizations and departments. They also have another layer of fees and taxes. We don't call them taxes, but they're
Right.
tax because if you don't pay the fee, you don't get your license.
You don't get the service.
You don't get. Do they give it back when they see the overlap?
Oh, no.
Do you think they give it back?
No, sir.
Of course not.
No.
I actually went down and registered our car about
Okay.
8 months ago.
Yeah.
It's a BMW. It's a nice car.
Right.
$800.
Holy smackdown.
$800. So you multiply that by a family of 2 or 3,
Right. And you need a car to get
And
to
you need-
work or
right.
go wherever.
and you got to pay your insurance.
Right.
Right. These are mandated things.
Yes.
Right. Right. So these are the kinds of things that are crushing people in this state.
Wow.
Why is it? And isn't that money supposed to go to take care of the roads?
Right.
Department of Transportation.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Isn't like 47 cents on every gallon of gas supposed to help take care of the roads?
I sure hope so.
I don't see the roads getting much better.
I see them getting a lot worse, and I
Yeah.
see a lot more road construction in addition to the epic fail rail that's cutting through my town of Kali. I'm not even going to start on that. And all my students at Nanakuli, when I used to teach at high school, we already know, Auntie Dawn, you can call them the epic fail rail, which has a no end in sight budget. Anyway, we're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it.
It's a good example, though, of what's wrong with this state.
Thank you.
We're about to launch a new stadium project, right? We have a partnership between the government and car development.
That's right.
They're about 600 million short.
Holy.
Now they've already wasted 300 to 400 million on the previous administration in planning. They've actually they've already wrote this off.
in the David Ige administration, and
'Cause
now
this-
we're in the Green
And
administration.
now we're in the green, and it's supposed to be opening in 2028. Now it's pushed to 2030.
And we have such a great record with the epic fail rail that's still being built and X amount of dollars just flying out of the state of Hawaii.
So the question is, what is the solution to these kinds of systematic failures?
What is
Stop
the solution?
putting people in charge of projects that don't know anything about construction.
Well, and it was interesting to me to see the recent headline at the time of this filming that Colleen Hanabusa is now stepped down as the HART, which has to do with the rail transit, HART director. And I thought to myself, I'm sorry, I stopped paying attention because it makes me so angry. I did stop watching that news. And I don't necessarily aspire to people who say that. Oh, I stopped watching the news. It's just always so negative. But I missed that she was the director and now she's stepping down and it was a suddenly. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. I was going to meet with you, Governor Green, or this, that. And I read a bunch of excuses that are made. I'm sorry, Colleen Hanabusa, and your wonderful family if you're watching this, but I heard the excuses coming through because I'm a taxpayer in the state of Hawaii.
Fair enough.
And it's another person I thought, I didn't realize you knew how to run rail transit. Or try to salvage this project. So to your point of we are having a very incestuous relationship where somebody loses an election and then they show up as a director of the tourism, or they show up as this here, or they're now Josh Green's PR person, and I think to myself, wait a minute, you're just being sidelined to come back later in another position of power and leadership. Let me pivot because we're coming in for a landing.
Yeah.
And you and I could do this all day.
We need hope.
Yes.
I can tell you,
There it
in
is.
these meetings that we have on a regular basis, they're called meet and greets for the campaign. Go to
you.
GaryCorderyForGovernor.com.
Okay, Gary Cordery
GaryCorderyForGovernor.com. You'll find
we'll have that on screen.
You'll find in there the opportunity to participate in meet and greets.
Thank you.
So I start talking about the state and the condition of our state, and pretty soon it just gets so heavy. I got to go break out.
Yeah.
Because we need hope.
Yes, sir.
And there is hope.
Thank you.
We should not shrink back as though we're not the head. We are not the tail.
Come on.
We are the head.
Yes, sir.
God has given provision, favor, and abundance to have righteousness in government because people will prosper once that's so.
Yeah.
That's a promise.
That is a
God
promise.
said, you put righteous people in government, the people will prosper.
And I was going to say, it's not just a promise, it's God's promise.
It's God's promise, exactly.
That's good.
Good clarification, exactly. So that's the call.
Yes.
It is a matter of calling people up to the God-given gift of who they've been made, how they live their lives.
I love that.
How they are with each other in relationship,
Love
how
it.
they show up at work.
Yes.
Is virtue and conscience functioning at a high level? Do they go to work and just hang out and not produce? Are they
Clock
on the
in.
state dime?
Right.
Right?
Right.
No. We have to change the culture.
Yes, sir.
It is a cultural shift in this state that will create great abundance. And it is not pie in the sky.
Yeah.
It is practical policy implementation from the departments.
I love that.
It can be done.
It's practical. It's actually historical.
It is historical.
It is our state motto. Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono.
Hallelujah.
The life of the land is in righteousness. And it started that way under the mo'i, the royalty of this land.
That's right.
And as the original constitution and republic that was Hawaii.
That's right.
So as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. How are we going to make that difference, Gary? How are you aspiring to that? And walk us through. We know that elections are coming 2026. Every key positions are up. Governor, lieutenant governor. We have representatives and senators. What is the landscape going to look like for that? And I'm going to ask you a backup question.
Yeah.
Why should we register? You started touching on that as well. But
Yeah.
first, what is it going to look like?
What is it going to look like? Well, in 2026, there'll be in August, there'll be a primary in August 8th, 2026. That will determine who's actually going to run for the general. And that will happen in November 8th. So what happens between now and then? There'll be candidates going out there and they'll making their presentation to the public.
Yes.
This is the public's opportunity to engage with these people and find out not about what they say, but look and see how they live their lives.
Yes.
Look and see how they've acted in the past. Are they an incumbent? Are they running again? And if they did, how did they vote?
And
Did they serve their people?
Yes, that's good.
This is what has to happen. You must get to know those who are in the legislative branch. You got to go do your homework.
Judge a tree by its fruit.
It's fruit. That's right.
The ulu doesn't fall
That's
far
right.
from the ulu
Yeah.
tree. You're not going to get guava from a rose bush.
That's
You're
right.
not going to get grapes from
Yeah.
a thorn bush. So I love that. Look at their track record.
Look at the track record.
And primary is August 8th. So
August
that's
8th,
like based on the word prime, which is first. So that's like JV. Okay,
That's
so
right.
you got to make JV
You gotta win the
junior
primary.
varsity
Right,
to
that's
get
right.
to the varsity
Yeah.
team. I'm breaking it down simple because I
Gotta get
want to
to the
go
Super
after the
Bowl.
60%
Yeah.
who are not yet voting.
That's right.
Especially the young people coming up who I think are really sick and tired of the sick and tired in the state.
They should be sick and tired. They're
Yeah.
the ones who are paying the price for corruption in the last 30 years. They are literally, this generation is literally thinking their future is in mom and dad's garage.
Right.
That the biggest thing that they're going to own is a nice car and a loud stereo. May I say that
Wow.
there's an unprecedented life for the people of this state.
Yes.
The young people of this state
on.
have every right to believe that
good.
if they give themselves in merit, in authenticity, in integrity, that they should reap the rewards, because that's exactly what God said. We will reap what we sow.
Yes, in
Right.
the land of the living.
In the land
I
of the living,
shall
right.
see the goodness
Yeah.
of God in the land of the living.
That's right.
So register to vote.
Register to vote is absolutely fundamental, and it is
Must.
easier than ever.
Yes.
You know, so I just came. I don't know if you listened to the Office of Elections meeting today.
I'm sorry I was
So,
filming my own stuff today.
Yeah, so you probably want to, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. But we have election issues in this state.
Oh, yes, we
Major,
do.
right?
And we have for a long time.
And we have for a long time.
It's a
but it's
problem.
coming to a head.
Yeah.
So there's been a pig that was issued, and they've actually made a determination that the previous election in 2024 was corrupted, because there's
No.
what a shocker. So this is a big deal, because this is why the young people say, why should I bother?
Right.
Even in
Exactly.
national elections, people say to me all the time, well, how come Hawaii gets called before, how come they gets called before, the vote is
polling
even
booths
done?
Yes,
Right.
before the polling booths
Right.
are closed. We're not even voting yet, and I already know who the president is.
So we need to push for in-person, single day,
Yep.
with an ID,
Not
paper,
electronic,
ballot. Let's just go
not a
back.
mail-in.
Can we just exercise enough wisdom to say what we're doing doesn't work?
It's not even wisdom, it's common sense.
Yeah, it's
but go
common sense.
ahead.
Yeah. So we must. So people must call their legislators. This decision is still possible.
Wow.
We can still shift for the 2026
Walk-in
election.
voting.
Walk in. Remember, we should go to the school.
Yes, sir.
Go to school, get your little paper, make your name in there. But you have to register. You can go to your phone. How do I register to vote in Hawaii? You can do it on your phone. You can do this in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Why is this so important? You want to have to leave this state?
Wow.
You want a job?
Yeah.
You want to be married to the government?
Wow.
Or do you want to actually raise your own family?
Yes.
You want to be able to determine what future is going to look like.
What books my children will read in first grade.
This is the beautiful thing about the governor's authority. He can actually suspend the funding for these kinds of positions. These kinds of I say positions, I mean criteria,
Sure.
teaching criteria.
Yes.
These are tactics. There are so many tactics because the governor is so powerful that if we actually put people in places of responsibility who will actually do what is right for the people,
Thank you.
right?
Of
I'm
the
not
people.
honestly, the kingdom principles live and breathe and burn on the inside,
Yes, sir.
and they will determine our steps.
Yes.
Right, so we have these mountains of government and all these mountains, right? It's a fairly common phrase in the
seven
community.
mountain
the
concept.
the seven mountains, right? Well, the government mountain must come down,
Thank you.
and it must be replaced by kingdom principles.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't mean that everybody's going to turn into a Christian just because a believer is in the executive branch, but it does mean that the principles of the kingdom, they're like gravity.
Yes.
People don't really realize that they're governed by gravity, but everybody jumps, everybody comes down, right? They know it by experience.
Yes.
We haven't had an experience where you've had kingdom principles applied to government policy.
Beautiful.
This is the distinction that I'm making. If we put people who fear God and put kingdom principles in places of authority in the departments of this state, we will see change that we have never seen.
A tidal wave of change.
And it goes across the board.
Yes.
I mean, you think about OHA. It's like, why is Kaikahele running OHA? Like, really? These are the kinds of decisions that Hawaiians that are kingdom principle minded need to actually govern. Not ones who are worried about the budget and making more money. And there's, go to our website. I can tell you, we're speaking to all of these issues. If there's so many issues, it's hard to narrow it down to 3 or 4.
Right.
But
Of
obviously,
course.
cost of living.
Good.
So we're going to eliminate GET on medicine and food.
Right.
How many people have said that? Over and over. Why doesn't somebody actually from this state go to the Department of Interior
Right.
and say, can we just deal with this
Once
Jones
and
Act.
for all.
Can we just deal with this? Can we
It's such
stop?
a conundrum. It's
a
so
conundrum.
confusing.
Yeah.
And they've talked about it for so many administrations, but nobody's done anything. Going back to the political promises, and I'm not going to go off on that vent because I know we're trying to land the plane here. But again, it comes back to me, Gary, of the people, by the people, for the people.
That's right.
And ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. We are an American state that is supposed to be operating in righteousness, and that's what you are aspiring to.
That's right.
That's what you're calling for. And if we change governor for 2026, and I'm talking about not Democrat, and I say that at my own great risk, but I stand in righteousness of God. I have no fear of retribution. And you do the same.
Exactly.
Gary for governor. What's the website again?
GaryCorderyForGovernor.com.
GaryCorderyForGovernor.com. It's going to come up on the screen. I'm going to bring us in. Thank you for saying it's a word of hope. We're not looking at the black eye of politics as much as we're looking beyond that to the great hope of Hawaii. Because if we draw breath, we still have hope. That's always been a firm belief of mine. But one of the last questions we ask every guest, and thank you, Gary, for talking about some of your platform, but it's available on the website.
That's right.
And you're going to be addressing cost of living. You're addressing corruption and mismanagement by having accountability and having the Office of Accountability, Transparency, and Truth.
Yeah.
Thank you for addressing housing and home ownership and also education. The last question, two questions I always ask people, and this has to do with the Aloha State, is what is aloha to you, sir?
Wow, what a beautiful question. In the moment, it's like when you meet somebody, you can look in their eyes, and you don't have to make something up. You can actually just be present.
Yes.
We can live our lives with our arms crossed, positioned, and being right, or we can stand open-armed, and we can embrace that person. Whatever their scenario, whatever life's experiences have brought them to that particular moment, that we can actually be with one another in such a way that there's life exchange.
Yeah.
You know, the Aloha Spirit is. I mean, its expression is all backyard barbecues and talking story late into the night and going to the beach, and maybe you're digging a ditch, maybe you're digging a footing, but there's still a measure of grace and honor and joy. And a willingness to pick the other up.
Yes.
We talk about Malama and the Ohana and all of these. They're all a part of that declaration, the Aloha Spirit. But really, it's in this moment. Like I get to have aloha with you right now.
This is aloha.
And so this
Thank
is how
you
it
for
is.
saying that.
And so we just actually reach for one another and
you.
embrace, and then take what shows up.
Yeah.
And practice committed communication.
Thank
Just be
you.
committed to prefer the other.
I love
We prefer
that.
one another out of the grace of God, right?
And I love that you touched on, and sometimes it's even in the digging of a ditch. I just saw on IG or social media, somebody spun out, got into an accident, went off the road by Kualoa Ranch.
Yeah.
You know, that hairpin kind of curve. And instead of people just passing by, you saw a couple of local boys jump out of their truck, pull over, jump out, and help to get the car back out onto the road and on their way. It's early morning, right? We're all trying to get
How
to work.
inconvenient.
Right. But that aloha spirit showed up even in the digging of a ditch
Yeah.
or in a bad moment. That's especially when it shows up.
It's in simple things, too. I mean, that's a pretty dramatic example.
Right.
I'm walking down the street. I see trash on the ground.
Come on. There it is.
I could either choose to bend over and pick up that trash because it doesn't belong there.
Right.
That's the Aloha Spirit.
That's
That
good.
we would care for one another in the simple tasks.
That's good.
And make our lives better.
Right. Or when I merge into traffic and I flash the shaka.
That's right.
Exactly.
Give a little shaka.
Thank you for
Thank
letting
you.
me through, smiling at somebody across the aisle at the grocery store. Who is your aloha hero? Last question. Somebody who lives true, pure aloha, past or present.
Oh, boy. That's a great... I should have read your notes. That's what's beautiful about the conversation.
Yes. Authentic. Real.
Gee, there's people in my life right now who just continue to live and give and love. I got to tell you, Wendy Lowe, Cheryl Toyofuku,
Yes.
Melissa Iona.
Hey now,
These
I
are
know
people
her.
that are involved in my life on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be the well-known.
Right, like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. I mean, there are those people.
Absolutely,
There,
yes.
and there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
But when I think of that, I think of my wife. I think of you, honestly.
Thank you, friend.
You know, so we can connect after a period of time, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be some awkward
We're right
quirkiness.
there.
We can just connect.
Right back.
I think to narrow it down to one person is absolutely impossible. I think it's a present tense conversation.
That's good.
Yeah. So.
I love your answer, Gary, because you mentioned your wife,
Yeah.
and Kim is a phenomenal woman.
Oh, my wife's
But
amazing.
you also mentioned a number of ladies, and I know each and every one of
Yeah.
those ladies, Cheryl and Wendy and Melissa.
Yeah.
And thank you for mentioning me, but it's a kako thing.
It is.
We often say to raise a child, it takes a village to raise
Mm-hmm.
a child. And it takes a community. The base word of the word community, and you know this as a public communicator for many years, is commune, to come into oneness with each other. It's also the base word for communion. When you and I come to church and we do this in remembrance of Jesus, we break the body so that we can partake together.
Yeah.
And there's a sacredness. It's kapu. It's holy. And so thank you
that.
for saying it's
Yeah.
not just one person.
No.
It's our whole aloha state, and it's probably gone beyond the waters to the continent. It's gone to other continents, not just the mainland, or what they call the continent now is corrected by a Hawaiian. Don't say the mainland, because we're also a mainland, right? It's like saying you're the main character, but I'm the main character too. So thank you for that answer,
Yeah,
Gary.
wow.
It wasn't even diplomatic. You weren't trying to be a politician
just
about
kinda,
it. That's not you.
I try to not do that.
It was the overflow of your heart, your
Yeah.
mouth spoke. So
It's
thank you.
It's such a treasure to be with people who honor one another.
Yes.
And that expression of who they are is a gift.
Culture of honor.
It's a gift. And it breathes and brings life.
It is true aloha.
Yeah.
And
so,
it is the spirit of
yeah.
Keakua Manaloa.
Yeah.
Gary, as we go out, do you have a scripture verse that you can speak over the state of Hawaii? Because I trust you. I really do. I don't say that a lot as a child of trauma, but I trust you as a good shepherd.
Yeah.
Do you have
Wow.
a scripture verse you would speak over the state of Hawaii as we finish here?
I don't have a specific verse, but I would speak a blessing.
Please do.
Father, we speak a blessing over this state. Yes. We recognize, Lord, that every good and perfect gift comes from you. Lord, that we can strive and work hard and do all the things that we can do, but at the end of the day, Father, we trust you. We seek first your kingdom. We ask, Lord, that you, God, would pour into this state your presence.
Yes, Lord.
Lord, we ask for redemption in every way. We ask for restoration. We ask for abundance, Father. We ask for grace. And we ask for justice, Lord. You said that the foundations of your throne are righteousness and justice.
Yes.
So out of that, Lord, exudes mercy and kindness. So I pray over this state, over this studio, over Dawn, over this show, over those who are listening, God, a sense of God's pleasure and glory, and that you would be lifted up in it all. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Thank you,
What a
Gary,
blessing.
former pastor, forever friend, and good brother. You know, I teach Choose Aloha in the schools. And as you were praying that wonderful blessing over the state of the Aloha state, the state of Hawaii, I teach Choose Aloha instead of choose hate, bullying,
Choose
other
aloha.
bad things. Choose love, choose Aloha, sacrificial, godly
Yeah.
love. And I always leave them with 3 words, and I have the kids do it with me. Will you help me? I say, okay, aloha, and you make a heart.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Nice. Aloha.
Always.
Always.
Wins.
Always wins.
Aloha always
Always
wins.
wins.
And I
Oh,
hope and
love
pray
that.
because you
Yeah.
embody aloha, that aloha will always win
Yeah,
with
it will.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Aloha Alive, the heartbeat of Hawaii. Don't forget to check him out on his website. It's GaryCorderyForGovernor.com.
Yes.
And you can also see his whole calendar there. He'll be going around the state. And what you see is the real Jesus deal. Vote Gary for Gov. Aloha.
Aloha.